Welcome to Creativ Convos with Victoria M. Hey creatives, thanks so much for joining this episode of Creativ Convos podcast. This is a podcast that will be behind the scenes of the magazine, and we'll have featured artists as well as have some of our staff here. Today we have a staff writer from Creativ Magazine, Yvonne.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining, Yvonne. I appreciate it. This is going to be a great conversation.
Such an honor to be here today. I'm very excited.
Yes, I enjoy connecting with staff of the magazine, especially during this time, not really seeing each other that much.
Right.
So I think this will be fun.
Yep, absolutely.
Quick conversation. So just to jump in, could you give me just a short explanation about your experience with Creativ, how you started, how you got to know our editor, things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's approaching 4 years now that I've been having the privilege of contributing pieces, more in the writer's corner. I was actually introduced to Corinne through a mutual friend, and she knew that I was a writer, a speaker, and she said, there is someone you must meet. And I remember that meeting all those years ago where I was just blown away by Corinne's energy, her passion, and her vision. So it's been wonderful getting a chance to contribute and see the magazine unfold and grow.
So could you just let everyone know your particular contribution to the magazine? What's the columns what's the topics and your niche for the magazine?
Well, what really was surprising to me was Corinne blessed me a few months back with a condensed version of many of the articles I've contributed in a book called The Celebration of Love. And when I got it, cried. Because
that is so amazing.
You don't necessarily see when you're in your journey, the process and where things are going. So to answer the question, I can briefly just look back at the list. I mean, there's titles that range from, Loving You Through the Looking Glass, True Love's Recipe, Parts 1 and 2, Staying Young at Heart, or Weathering the Storm. So I know at the end of 2020, I wrote something in reference to having 2020 vision. And just given that we've been through so much with the pandemic and unexpected life changes, my pieces really resonate with women, but anyone who's looking to improve their life and looking for things to get better.
Nice. And so out of those, what would you say would be your favorite?
My favorite are those that revolve around love. So like True Love's Recipe, and then also because you can't really love anyone else until you love yourself first. One that dealt with loving you through the looking glass. So really as women, we have busy schedules. We're so busy caring for our families, caring for our jobs, and sometimes we overlook the importance of caring for ourselves. So making sure that we have that strong foundation and we're resetting every day if possible, so we can bring that energy and that love and that joy to everyone else around us. Those are the pieces that make me most proud.
Nice. That's one thing that I let everyone know when I'm giving a description about Creativ Magazine. It's really a nice platform, just not for art, but it's showcasing, and it's something there for everyone, honestly. Agreed. And it's such on a global platform that it's not just to a particular state or to a country. Everyone can relate and enjoy something out of the magazine. So hearing that this is the pieces that you provide for the magazine is just even better. Yeah, because it's not just an artistic or just for art or just, for creatives. It's something that people can just have a sense of themselves and just have an understanding with themselves. So that's great.
Yeah. And I feel like it's almost like I'm part of a universal collective because you're leaving that footprint every single edition. But then you look back over it and you're like, wow, this wasn't local, but this was global. So it's great that it has such a big outreach.
Exactly, because you never know who could inspire and touch.
Agreed.
So that's great. Going on, piggybacking off of that, what has been some of your best highlights with working with Creativ Magazine?
I would say, because I'm pretty much usually in the background, more contributing, but when I see the finalized pieces, it's interesting how Corinne's brilliance in pulling together these pieces into one collective story every time. Some of the highlights, like different fashion shows and pieces that she's put forward, that you can see there's a theme that travels throughout each particular edition. So just knowing that, when you're just a small piece of a puzzle and you can see that finished piece, that always for me is a joy. So when we get the announcement, the edition's ready, I find it funny that she's always thanking us, but I think it's important for us to remember to thank her for, years ago having a vision and sticking to
Mm-hmm.
it. And for the fact that
Exactly.
she's
Yeah.
also maintained not giving up, because the economic environment right now is tough, but she knows that this is a message that still needs to be heard.
Mm-hmm. I think, and that's easy, and that's really makes it easy for writers and people who want to provide content for the magazine.
Yes.
It makes it easy for them when they have an editor who's just as dedicated and who is just as, passionate about what she's putting out and cares about what is being put out.
Right.
So, she's an amazing editor, honestly.
Agreed.
I love Corinne. So besides you being a staff writer for Creative Magazine, what other things do you have in the works?
Well, I wear a lot of hats. So one thing that I'm building in the background as of about 2 months ago, my husband and I, along with another close friend, started a nonprofit. It's called Academic Impact, and it's going to help take care of children, parents, and teachers in this teaching environment post-COVID. So we have a lot of programs that we're implementing, really ground floor. And then another thing that I'm super passionate about right now, this is totally new start, New You Wow. So it's an incentive to help women specifically make sure they're taking care of themselves and realizing that if you change your mindset and the way you wake up every day and what you're thinking about and where you want to be, you can literally change your life. So it's a mentorship program that I'm providing. I strongly encourage all the listeners to go check out the website, newyouwow.com. And just if you're looking for more information, whether it's a little bit of hand holding or you need a listening ear, reach out to me because you'll be reaching me directly to make sure that you're not alone.
Nice. That sounds amazing. Does it have any other social media handles as well besides the website?
So thus far, we've implemented Twitter as well as Instagram, and I'm in the process of establishing Facebook too. I know that the handles for both Instagram and Twitter are the name of the company. So New You Wow will actually get you right there.
Okay, nice. So just to wrap this up, what is it that you're looking forward to this year? As a creative, as someone that seems to be out in the community trying to assist people during this hard time, what is it that your focus is in 2021, and what is it that you're looking forward to?
I hope to contribute to the message that just because things have changed doesn't mean they won't get better. And when all of last year kicked off, I think a lot of people were caught up in, I just want to get back to normal. But
Right.
I think what we need to do is elevate ourselves and even elevate our expectations that maybe the disruption that came from these very unexpected and unwelcome occurrences is something that will trigger us to be bigger, to be better, and to realize that there is nothing that can stop you when you're determined to get where you're going. So I feel and I celebrate the fact that I can be a part of a lot of people's journeys. And maybe it's time to self-assess and figure out, was this really what I wanted? Things before COVID showed up, were they really where I wanted them to be anyway? And maybe this is opening new opportunities and a new way of looking at, I can be something that I never thought, because now I'm forced to reassess where I'm going. So I'm looking forward to big things for everybody who just makes a decision. You can do it.
Yeah, that's true. I was having a conversation with my friends and just stating this year is just a year for me to get back into me being a creative, but also not adding pressure.
Right.
So I just had a conversation with the writer yesterday and just doing the small things to build.
Exactly.
Writing every day, speaking with people, connecting, the small things, because you never know what one small thing, like you stated, Corinne just gave you a book of all your articles. Who knows what that could turn into in the future if you keep adding and adding and adding to it. So yeah, I completely
and I just want to go along with that. I think too that we have to remind ourselves there is no such thing as an overnight success. When you see someone big, they literally blood, sweat, tears, put in years because that's what's adding to their collective. But it's always worth it. It's always worth everything that you're creating, everything you do, and especially those days where you think, I don't have the energy, I can't do it right now. Sometimes those are the most phenomenal creations that come out of you. So just push through it. And also, I'm creating a community there at New You Wow, where we're going to be able to, as women, come together and make sure that we feed off each other. Because sometimes it's more than just what you're thinking, it's also your energy. So when you get in there and have someone that's cheering you on and reassuring you that you can make it, it makes a world of difference to know you're not alone. So you keep up the good work as well. I think it's so impressive that you have to maintain that discipline and just get back to where you were and keep pushing and driving.
Yes.
Yeah, it's at the end of the year that we realize, what? I did that. But you just can't give up.
Exactly. You're so right. Well, thank you so much, Yvonne, for joining us here on Creativ Convos. I appreciate you speaking with us today, and I'm sure everyone will look forward to what we have in store with Creativ Magazine.
Thank you so much. It's an honor.
Thank you. Until next time, creatives, thanks for joining in on Creativ Convos.